but you gotta go and do it.
Yep.
You got to do it.
If that's your job.
Well, all right, Steve. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, you will.
Thank you. Good job. Like I said, that being a life coach takes a lot out of you.
Can.
Matt, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Like-
Thank you.
Do you feel like you need therapy now?
Never.
Oh, I could probably use some serious therapy.
Hey,
There is no
fine.
doubt in my mind. All right, that's going to do it for us on this Monday morning. Keep it right here. You got Matt Connarton Unleashed coming up at 4 p.m. Followed by Granite State of Mind. And we will see you tomorrow morning. Have a great Monday, folks, and enjoy the first day of spring.
This hour on WMNH is sponsored by CGI Business Solutions, located at 5 Dartmouth Drive in Auburn. They serve all your business needs, including employee benefits planning, corporate design and business administration, investments and wealth management, and customized business insurance solutions. Their phone number is 866-841-4600 or on the web at cgibusinesssolutions.com.
Bring your kitchen to life with Queen City Cabinetry, located at 87 Elm Street in the historic Sunbeam Mall in Manchester. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They can be reached at 603-222-2007 or on the web at queencitycabinetrynh.com. Come see the possibilities. Queen City Cabinetry, another proud sponsor of WMNH.
Clemento's Pizzeria, family friendly, awesome for a date night. Clemento's Pizzeria.
For delivery, call 603-782-8450.
Clemento's Pizzeria, the best pizza in town.
1875 South Willow Street in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Best cocktails around.
Come in as friends and leave as family.
Come on down to the Hop Knot at 1000 Elm Street, Manchester's premier craft beer and gourmet pretzel bar. Tell us more, Trudy.
We make our dough fresh every day. We make a variety of styles of pretzels and serve craft beer, cocktails, and a few bottles of wine. We do the traditional pretzel, and we have multiple flavors for that. We also do stuffed pretzels, pretzel sandwiches, 3 dessert pretzels, and pretzel knots.
The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street.
You are listening to WMNHLP, Manchester's radio, broadcasting at 95.3 megahertz frequency modulation from the top of 1000 Elm Street. Our studios are located at 1045 Elm Street and licensed to Manchester Public Television Service in Manchester, New Hampshire, USA.
Strangers in my hallways, peaceful dreams are swimming in my head.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Here we go. It is that time again. Happy Monday. It is Matt Connerton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester. Hello to all of our online listeners across the nation and around the globe. You can go to my website, mattconnerton.com, for all of your live streaming options, social media links, contact info, show archives, etc., etc. And I am not alone. Jenny is here at the news desk.
Present and accounted for.
Yes.
Glorious sunny day. I'm loving it.
Did I say the date? I feel like I forgot to say the date.
Like you didn't.
I usually say the date. Yeah, it's March 20th, 2023.
It is. You know what that means, right?
What?
Spring.
Is today the first day of spring
is
officially?
I believe so.
Outstanding. Well,
or at 5 p.m. One of the two.
Oh, right. Well, very good. Very good. We have a full show today. We have a returning guest we're going to introduce in just a moment. And then coming up in the second hour, we've got some kid coming in.
Stop it.
Jesse Kafefi or something.
Hey!
I hear he's very talented.
You can walk home.
But we'll
He's
see.
Extraordinarily talented and self-taught, mind you.
Yes.
Yes, my son Jesse Coffey will be joining us in the second hour.
Yes.
He will be singing and playing guitar.
Yes.
I'm so very proud of him, and I'm excited to get to hear him play today.
Yes, that'll be wonderful. He has been on WMNH before on another show on Granite State of Mind.
Yes.
But
yes,
this will be his first
and he
time
blew
on
him
this.
away.
Yes.
Yes, he did.
So this will be his first time on this program. So we look forward to that. And joining us right now on the couch, returning to the show, Jessica Margison. Am I saying that correctly?
Yep.
Is this your second or third time here?
Third time.
Third time here. Yes. Jessica is a tenants' rights activist, and we've got this bill that Jessica and Jenny were discussing yesterday. This bill that's in the New Hampshire State House here. And by the way, I just I like to preface these conversations by saying that I know we have a lot of listeners online from all over the place, but what goes on here, much of it goes on across the country. In terms of the need for tenant advocacy and activism, because there's a lot of we've got a national housing crisis, and of course in some places it's worse than others, and here in New Hampshire what's the vacancy rate? It's
Manchester's 0.3, and then our county's 0.4.
Yeah,
it doesn't get much better. As you get out away from the bigger cities, it does get a little bit better.
Yeah,
but it's nationwide, so there's a lot of different states that are facing this. So it's not anything just Manchester or just New Hampshire.
Absolutely.
But Manchester's hit pretty hard. We went through the renovation eviction era, where we lost a good amount of our naturally occurring affordable housing to renovation evictions. A lot of the renovations that went on happened to a lot of those. So there's still people that were evicted then that are still looking for an apartment now.
Right.
So it's amazing this bill even came out right now in this housing shortage we're in.
Well, we're going to talk about all of that, absolutely, and it's an important discussion. And again, no matter where you are, probably something like this is happening where you are. And of course, if you're here in New Hampshire, it will be particularly relevant what we're going to be talking about. If you'd like to enter the discussion, and it is a very important discussion, 603-250-6007 is the studio line, 603-250-6007. You can also text us at 617-917-4476. You can interact and opine in the Facebook live chat. And of course, you can also email me, matt@mattconnerton.com. And if you do it during the program and I see it, I'll read it on the air if it's germane to the topic, or you can even just message me directly through the website. But the best thing to do, of course, so that we can hear and enjoy your dulcet tones, is to give us a call at 603-250-6007 and tell us what's on your mind regarding all of this. And I do see some folks in the chat room already. Hello, Miriam and Abort7. Crystal, our friend from Illinois. Jenny, I see you're in there, of course.
Of course.
Yes. And well, let's dive into this, shall we? And I don't know. Before we talk about the bill, Jessica, can you remind us to where you're from and what organizations you work with? For obviously, again, like we said, this is your third time on the show, but newer listeners might not be familiar with you and the work that you do.
Right. I have to be reminded that I'm a tenant activist because I say so much. I'm an organizer and I work so hard to stay at the table to get our goals accomplished for us that we need for especially affordable housing.
Yeah.
So I am a tenant organizer with Granite State Organizing Project. I have a tenant clinic that I run every Wednesday from 1 to 4 at our office. We're right above Margarita's second floor. So that's 1045 Elm. So every Wednesday, 1 to 4, you can drop in, you can ask some questions. I can point you to the answers. I can help line you up with the services you may need. I can help advocate for you with those services or even help you with the paperwork.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's about understanding what's available, learning to advocate for yourself even, and to ask for that. And sometimes it's helping them see that tenant should have that extra help and why they deserve it.
Yeah.
And then on the second Saturday of every month, I also run the Granite State Tenants Association. So that's a group of tenants that get together the second Saturday of every month from 12 to 3, same location right above Margarita's second floor. And I keep them updated on all the housing matters that matter to them. Like we spoke about this bill this past Saturday, 2 Saturdays ago, to let them know about it. I also am helping with Barney Street. It's pretty cool so if you live in public housing, you have a right to organize and create your own association within your public housing. So there is some other public housing in the community, like if Amory Street wants to reach out and they're interested in organizing, or the Burns Building. What that association does is it gets created to where the tenants have an ability to help decide what services or what happens to them where they live.
Yeah.
And they don't always get that say, so it gives them some of that those rights, and it's pretty cool what they can do. So anyways, I meet with them. I do a lot of stuff. Anybody that needs organizing, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Excellent.
Besides even the Housing Commission.
Jenny, you had started to say something.
Oh, I was going towards the bill.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll
I was just going to kind of like set a stage or something.
We'll get to that in just a moment. Yeah. By the way, John Hopwood is in the chat room and shared something about affordable housing, a link. I'll have to look at that. And Crystal, our friend from Illinois, comments, and I think we might have discussed this last time too. She said, here in Illinois, corporations are buying up rentals and trailer park lots and doubling the rents to show profits to their shareholders. They aren't renovating or improving these dwellings or lots, though. Yeah, and again, that's something that I'm sure is going on all over the country. But yeah, go ahead, Jenny. I'll let you want to talk about the bill.
Okay, so this is happening here in New Hampshire, but I have little doubt in my mind that it's not something being worked on in other states or even many. This bill was introduced by Representative Lynn out of Rockingham 17, is the sole sponsor. There are no co-sponsors, but it has already passed the House. It need only pass the Senate of New Hampshire and then be signed by the governor to become law. And when you think of evictions, you usually think that you've done something wrong, right? And that leads to you being evicted. What this bill does is it allows a landlord to evict you at the end of the term of your lease, or as long as it's 6 months or more. So once you've been there over 6 months and your lease expires, it allows the landlord to say, don't like you. I'm going to evict you. You've got 30 days notice. And they can start that eviction, which also in New Hampshire, if you are evicted, it can stay on your record for 7 years, destroying your ability to get another home. So you can literally live in a home and do absolutely nothing wrong, mind all of the rules and regulations of your lease, be respective of the property, and your 1 year lease just ran out, and your landlord, if this bill passes, which is House Bill 117, can legally throw you out with 30 days notice.
I didn't even think of that part of it about the eviction.
Yeah,
in that case, through no fault of your own, it just...
The 7-year part, I hear that a lot. So what the 5-year and the 7-year part is how long somebody will look at your record. Your court record never goes away because you cannot expunge these.
So the court record stays, but there isn't there something about it stays on a list for, I thought...
landlord connection, any groups like that may gather info, it may be up to them how long they will keep that on their records. Different places like Beach Hill Properties, they look at your past 5 years. So different organizations have a 5 year, some have a 7 year, and that's where the 7 year gets confused with.
So New Hampshire Legal Aid, the organization, that you had spoken to me about, they have a thing in here about that too. They said generally an eviction report will remain part of your rental history for 7 years. If you're in the process of applying for a lease, ask the landlord or leasing company to tell you the name of the tenant screening company they are using. And that's where that comes from. And that I read from New Hampshire Legal Aid, which is nhlegalaid.org. I know another organization that you work closely with as well, right?
Yep. So that's the those are the reports they speak of that they will last that long on generally. I think that must have something to do with reporting. But as far as I know, I was told that because I have the past that I'd like to take off, but there's no way once it's there, it's there. After 3 years, your anything at the court is gone. So always make sure, like renovation eviction, save that paperwork. 4 years later, you're trying to move and you want to prove that it was a renovation eviction and not for non-payment. You can only get a case summary from court after 3 years.
Oh, really?
So save all your paperwork, because the renovation eviction, while it shows, if you at least have the opportunity to explain it's a no-fault eviction, it helps.
Can you explain to the listeners because this is the one way that you can be evicted through no fault of your own currently under New Hampshire law, is this renovation eviction. Is that correct?
Yep, for that, the good cause eviction.
Tell people, what exactly is that?
So that's good to talk about, because good cause is the balance to just cause. Us tenants have the balance of power called just cause, meaning we need to be evicted for just cause. We violated our lease. We did something to make us have to leave. Good cause is renovation eviction. The landlord wants to live in his unit himself or wants to do something different with it and take it off the market, right? So that is the balance of power that the landlord already has today. And that is how we can balance it. And that's what the previous cases argued in court did to balance that power, is how we got just cause. So taking away that right is just another good cause eviction for the landlord. While it may not count against us as something we did, it's eventually going to hit somebody when they can't find that apartment in 30 days and the landlord takes them to court. And then it becomes, they're not, it's on their record, because when most places pull it, what they see is that you were in court and who you were in court with. It doesn't get into the why so much, just landlord tenant. It doesn't say whose fault, who won. And
so somebody looking into you is simply going to see an eviction on your record.
Yeah.
Not, they're just literally going to see that word, eviction. What is that going to stop for you as a family? And what you just said, maybe bring it to mind. Okay, so you're living in an apartment, your lease is done, you've got kiddos, and the landlord goes, because in this bill, they only have to give you 30 days notice. That's it. 30 days notice, end of your lease, I don't like you, get out. So now you have to try and find a place to live. You get a couple of kids. There's already a housing crush in the city. You can't find a place to live. 30 days goes by. You're still struggling. Landlord takes you back to court. You haven't evicted the presidency. You haven't left the premises yet. So now it moves up in the fire of the court actions. Now you've got court filings against you for failure to vacate after an eviction.
And makes it harder to get into low-income housing, where they're going to look at your eviction record over the past 5 years. Not many people know they can appeal that decision of no and explain, listen, I'm struggling. I need to be in here. I can't afford this. That's why it happened. Sometimes an appeal works. So they should always find an advocate and an appeal a no decision when it comes to affordable housing. Call 603 Legal Aid. Let them cycle you through and see if there's someone that can talk to you for that. Any type of loss of benefits, call 603 Legal Aid right away.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
And then it gets trickier talking about the 30-day notice, because those with Section 8 vouchers, the housing choice voucher, they're required to do a 60-day notice so that they can get their voucher up and moving to be able to take it to the next place. So that landlord would then have to give them 60 days notice at least for them to properly move. So a tenant could be stuck looking every 10 months for an apartment.
Jesus.
Literally. And here's the kicker. The legislature obviously really wants this to pass. And perhaps, who knows, it might be the governor. He hasn't said boo. But this sailed through the House, had well over 100 votes in favor of making this law. Now it's over in the Senate. And what they did that I think is really slimy is they've scheduled a hearing for tomorrow. We've just passed crossover now, where the bills that were passed in the House go to the Senate and the bills that were passed in the Senate go to the House. That's crossover. That just happened. This bill doesn't have a fiscal note. It's no reason for it to be rushed to be heard immediately. Usually, once the bills cross over, it's the ones with fiscal notes that tend to go first because they have to go through two committees.
Yep.
This bill only has to see the Commerce Committee of the Senate. And
what does that mean? A fiscal note?
A fiscal note. Okay, so when a bill gets introduced in either the House or the Senate, if it's going to cost some money somewhere, it's going to affect the budget, it has to have a fiscal note from the budgetary office in the State House that says this is how much money it may cost the public in the long run, or this is what it's going to cost it or incur fees with. Anything that has to do with money exchanging hands has to have a fiscal note, has to go through not just the committee of law, say commerce, like this one, but also would have to go through finance and go through, all the budgetary committees, committee on each side. Now, this bill has no fiscal note, meaning it doesn't cost the state any money, or it's not going to cost the citizen money. But what this bill is very, very powerful. If this becomes law, and I know you're going to talk about this, if this becomes law, anybody who's lived longer than 6 months in their property, in their rental unit, whose lease has run out, can literally be handed 30 days to get out. And a large portion of the people that can be affected by that in the state of New Hampshire, the elderly.
The elderly, the disabled, those very low income, those up to 30% AMI, hugely affected. So where it comes into the law, the biggest question I have is, I just want to, in case an overwhelming amount of people didn't know current laws that stands, to where I feel the need to just state this real quick. So the most common way I've found to describe this, you've been at your place you're living at for 18 months. You moved in with the lease. That lease ran out 6 months ago. You are still covered by New Hampshire state statutes and that lease, that's month to month. You still have to violate that lease somehow to be thrown out. You would still have to either not pay it or violate lease terms, or say your landlord raised your rent and you didn't want to accept the rent raise. Those would all be things that could have you be evicted, right? Or for the good cause side, renovation, moving into it, all that stuff.
And when you say renovations, just to clarify, that's a portion. There's a specific percentage put to that. They can't just say, I'm going to put in a new kitchen cabinet. It has to be.
There's no guidelines with that. So
there isn't.
The worst thing about the renovation eviction is it just sails right through. Unless your landlord is blatant with his retaliation, that can be hard to prove. So, renovation evictions, when your landlord chooses to do so, it will go right through, because a renovation is that's to each his own kind of thing. I forget the word I'd commonly use. It's subjective like art. That's what it is. So one man's renovation is a different one. It's how you want it to look in the end. So there's no guidelines set up. There's no best practices, benchmarks, nothing with it. Just that you want to renovate it. Now, say your landlord spells out in court what he wants to do. You find out later. You could go to small claims court and chance that and argue that a wrongful eviction based on that. But there's no clear anything spelled out that I'm aware of right now.
Oh, wow.
So we fought for that. That didn't go through this year. But that's a big one that does need some benchmarks added to it. I personally think that the damages should be added to the 548 petition, since that already covers a wrongful eviction. So,
yeah. Crystal is asking in the chat room, can tenants' rights advocates groups sue the state of New Hampshire for discriminatory practices on evictions with this new law?
I'm not sure. I'm not.
That's called score, and that's hard because you always want to try. I get that point. You never want to scorch the earth because returning to the table is hard.
Mm-hmm.
You want to build momentum. It's really, if the tenants come out, if the tenants start coming out and they start standing up, we actually have things in place that we can say something and do something about this. But we've never made it feel like we can. So I created that avenue by getting together the Granite State Tenants Association.
Mm-hmm.
Every time they come out, everybody has their own gift, their own power. So it's about realizing the way that you're able to add to it, and whatever the way that is useful, because there's 1,000 pieces to the puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
So when people come out, we talk about ways they can one-on-one have that connection with people around them, what they can do city-wise. We have Board of Mayor and Alderman meetings you can speak out at. Coming to meetings like that, getting involved with the other organizers. There's other meetings I could gladly bring you into and bring you to the people that maybe would be talking about that. And then state ways they can get together and organize, which got me into my conundrum now of I have so many people to get to Concord and I don't know how.
yeah, for the hearing. Yeah.
Which is a tough thing to definitely. And this hearing, by the way, this hearing is taking place at the State House tomorrow at 10 a.m. in room 100. And this is going in front of the Commerce Committee in the state of New Hampshire. You as a citizen have the right to express your opinion. Feel free to call the committee at 603-271-2609, 603-271-2609 to express your opinions and share those with the chairman, Bill Gannon, or the vice chairman, Denise Riccardi. You can also email your representatives. Feel free to do that as well. But if you can get up there tomorrow at 10 o'clock tomorrow to room 100 at the State House, where House Bill 117 is the only time you're going to have a chance to publicly comment, this is the time to do this. If you know anybody who's living in a rental, this is literally living your life with a firecracker waiting to go off underneath you.
Yeah, so
not knowing when it's going to go, because you don't have to do anything wrong. They just have to go, I don't like you, get out.
Yeah, and some people don't want to speak. So if you're able to stop in at least to the State House before 10 o'clock, sign the little card, and check off that you don't want to speak, but you can check off that you oppose this bill.
Yes.
And if we could get an overwhelming support of people just stopping in, and if we could have a line out, they would have to move the room it was being held into a bigger room. And I just think them seeing that the renters, we can't keep being in that squeeze. We already don't have enough places to live. Our rent is so exorbitant. We're either picking a roof over our head or a car. It's really hard to have both. You have both, you don't have food. Yeah.
Everybody's electric bills have tripled. Your gas bills doubled. Your grocery bills doubled.
And now they want to take away the one rental protection we do have of just cause and make that like Russian roulette. Am I going to have an apartment next year? I don't know. My kid's school might have to change. I might not be able to work here next year because I won't be able to get there. I can only afford rent, not a car. So there's so many things. Doctors change, community support.
Oh, yeah.
Everything.
Miriam Banish in the chat room says, Denise Riccardi, if I'm saying that correctly, really wants to help her constituents. I've had a good experience with her. She doesn't care about party, just helping. Oh, that's good.
So hopefully she'll be one to speak up in regards to this. Being the vice chair, too, if memory serves me correctly, she's the first vote cast and can kind of set a little bit of a stage there as the first person to vote. And obviously our hope is going to be that she votes no and votes to recommend that this bill be killed. Because it will still have to go to the full Senate for a vote. But what we need right now is for it to come out of, because they're rushing it through, the Commerce Committee in the Senate needs to hear as much as possible from you and from, if you have friends or family members that are renters, you should care and say something as well. Because this is your one shot. If it passes the Senate, well, then it's Sununu signing it. With him wanting to run for president and everything,
And I would hope he wouldn't sign it. He himself already called for us to build 20,000 new units within 3 years, and we haven't even barely cracked ground on that. So he
Exactly.
knows the need for housing himself.
We haven't cracked
Let's-
ground on it. Will we?
Let's look at that, because that's the link that John Hopwood shared in the Facebook live chat, and this is from Manchester Inklink, and this was just this just went up on Saturday, the
Excellent.
18th. February report: accountability inventory continue to stall. New Hampshire housing market. It says the February housing market in New Hampshire wasn't budging much from where it had been in January, with affordability and lack of inventory continuing to stall sales, though they were up slightly in February from 12 months before. Quote, mortgage interest rates have dipped slightly from their peak last fall, leading pending sales to increase 8.1% month to month as of last measure, but affordability constraints continue to limit home buyer activity overall, with existing home sales declining for the 12th consecutive month, unquote. That's from the National Association of Realtors in its monthly report. I'm kind of skipping down here because I'm more interested in, because we're talking about renting, but this is more about sales. But obviously, that one does affect the other. So if people can't buy homes, then they're not getting out of their apartments.
I want to cover something just to make sure nobody ever says that we took this and we interpreted it as we would like to. This powerful bill is actually very few amount of words. And I'm going to tell you exactly what this says that would become law in this state. For a lease or tenancy that the original term of which is 6 months or longer, or for a lease or tenancy that the term of the lease or tenancy, excuse me, sorry guys, let me fix that. The original term of which is 6 months or longer, or for a lease or tenancy, the term of which is less than 6 months, but which has been renewed for a total period of 6 months or longer. The expiration of the term of the lease or tenancy, provided that the landlord has provided the tenant with written notice at least 30 days in advance of the termination date of the lease term, that the lease will not be renewed, and that the tenant must vacate the rental property at the end of the lease term. There is nothing to wrongly interpret here. It literally says if it's been over 6 months, he can say 30 days in writing, get out. Your lease is over on the 30th. I want you out by the 30th of the next month. That's it.
Right. So to flip back to where I kind of left off when you asked about that. So when I spoke of you've been in your apartment 18 months, the lease ended after a year. Those last 6 months, you're still covered. You'd still have to be evicted for violating your lease. What could happen with this change is your landlord could then ask you to sign a lease and then 6 months later just ask you to leave. Because you don't have a lease, he could then want you to have one.
Oh.
So your world could change. Things would have to be argued out. I don't understand and I don't know to be able to speak on who would be grandfathered in for how long or what, because that part's going to be interesting to hear about.
There's no exceptions written into this at all.
The only group of people that have any type of safety is those in public housing. They still have to be evicted for just cause due to the HUD rules within that contract.
Or they run afoul of federal laws?
At the project-based ones, huh? Yeah. Those in public housing, like my Varney Street tenants, I was really scared because anybody forming an organization or an association gets scared of being kicked out. What they have to realize, though, is whenever you meet as tenants, like say your building had a lot of issues with the landlord, you guys wanted to meet. The best way for you to meet, sign a paper, write down the reason that you guys met, everybody sign it, send it to your landlord. Your landlord knows that you're going through this meeting because it's real hard to prove retaliation if they don't know about it.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep, that makes sense. Yep.
If you're meeting, let it be known. Speak to what you're meeting about because you do have rights and protections with that. So it could be possibly seen as retaliation if you're to be evicted within the 6 months after that. But this law is not going to save you with this because they have every right to kick you out for that. Retaliation will be hard. I don't know. I haven't gotten to watch anybody battle it out yet with this, how it would affect with the new one.
It'll be interesting to see what they use in the Senate to justify.
What scares me are the tenants that I don't expect every landlord, not to cause panic, because I don't expect every landlord to start evicting everybody at the end of the year. It doesn't make sense for them business-wise to get that unit ready again. But for those tenants that are already nervous to speak up about an issue in their apartment,
Yeah.
they're already scared to say anything because of renovation evictions. It's amazing what people are living with right now and dealing with and not saying anything.
Yeah, Miriam Banish in the chat room, she said, she asked the question, what can people do if the landlord doesn't keep the place in a livable condition? I have friends with rodents and other pest infestations, and nothing is being done.
I will come to your unit and help you go see your file at the building department if needed. But the right thing to do legally is you want to inform your landlord. If you ever do decide to withhold rent, you need to give your landlord written notice a minimum of 14 days in advance. It's in the state statutes. New Hampshire Legal Assistance talks about it on their webpage. So you need to give your landlord 14 days notice in writing. I highly suggest sending this certified mail with return receipt. I can't tell you how many times I've had so many lawyers claim they didn't get paperwork from their clients to say that due process wasn't followed.
Right.
Always do certified return mail for everything legal.
Certified return is when they actually have to sign a card and that physically gets mailed back to you. The postman or the postmaster that has them sign the card actually takes the card and mails it. It's not the person who's receiving it that has to.
Correct.
That
So
does
you-
that.
so you have proof.
You'll get it. Yeah, that way you get it.
Yep, I can't tell you how many times I've seen a lawyer say they didn't get stuff.
And it's only like a couple extra dollars to do that, isn't it?
I think it's around 7 something.
It's worth it. It's well worth it.
Yeah, because of what could happen to your case. It's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
So you want to send it that way to prove when you did it, when they got it. If it's something like your heat's off, you got a water leak, a huge electrical issue, you don't have to wait the full 14 days. That's an emergent issue. You expect them to move right away. But for withholding rent, do your 14 days. But you have the building department you can call.
Speaking of calls, we have a call. Shannon is on the line. Hi, Shannon.
Someday, Matt, you're not going to say my name.
Right.
I think he said Barbara.
You know, sometimes you want to remain anonymous.
Oh, well.
How you doing?
We all know your voice. What's on your mind, Shannon?
Yeah,
Barbara.
I can't. Unless I do some funny stuff, I can't change the timbre. But anyway,
Right.
there's a neighbor in the building here that wanted to move out, and I believe gave a 30-day notice, and he said no, it's going to be a 60-day notice.
Do they have a housing choice voucher?
Can you speak? What?
Do they have a housing choice voucher? Are they on any type of rental subsidies?
Yeah, rental assistance. Yeah, I don't know if it's HUD or New Hampshire Housing or what.
Or if it possibly was the New Hampshire Emergency Rental Assistance before, too. So with HUD, you have to give 60 days notice to be able to move the voucher. That's really a HUD requirement more so than the landlords, because what New Hampshire state statute says is 30 days notice. So if they ended up in court for some reason, that's an arguable point. As far as I know, I would check by calling 603 Legal Aid and doing intake. But that's an arguable one because state law says you only have to give 30 days.
Okay, well, I called Legal Aid. I'm sorry. They've never done anything for me. I have called them. They, for me, were completely useless.
Was it one of those like?
One apartment.
Was it one of those where they couldn't cover it?
Huh?
Was it one of those where it didn't line up with what they were allowed to do, or what was the reason? Do you know?
I don't know. I have a theory, though. I have a theory that two best friends of the real slumlords out there are Canna Kills and bedbugs. Because when you've lived in an apartment for 21 years and you have no ants, no nothing, never mind mice or bedbugs or fleas, nothing, and then you move and all of a sudden you get bedbugs. You didn't bring them in there because how could you have?
Right.
You know, they crawl up the walls. It's a 3-story place. But the point is that in this instance, the person was notified, I think around July, the beginning of July, and not this year, a few years back. Landlord didn't do anything about it until late, from July to October.
3 months?
It is New Hampshire law. I don't know the number of the law or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If there are any infestations of, whether it be roaches, bed bugs, but it is up to the property owner to initiate extermination.
State Statute 48A-14 is housing standards, and those are listed in there. It's also covered by your 540A petition. So if you've had bed bugs, you've already, or infestations of any sort, you've called the building department. I commonly will advocate with people and communicate with the building department to try and make sure they're doing as much as they can to enforce that something more needs to happen. The tricky part comes with our building code, like in the Manchester, our building code right now. I'm trying to get it to be to where we have some more benchmarks on the Housing Commission. I'm fighting for that because without benchmarks in place, it just basically states they need to be actively working on it. And if it's not working well, do a little bit more. But no benchmarks in there to say what type of goals they have to reach with that and by what time. They're supposed to exterminate, like completely remediate, like all the roaches, rats are supposed to be gone. Bed bugs at least be managed and not there for 6 months at a time. So if you've gone through the building department and you can't get your landlord to do anything, you have available to you a 548 petition at the court. And you would ask...
How many years after the fact? Do you know?
Oh, you don't live at the premises?
No.
Everything that happens outside of living somewhere, it falls to a, what do you call it? The
Civil court?
small claims court, yeah.
Okay.
Civil court, yeah.
I just want to throw in too, just for the record, I've always heard good things about, I mean, I'm sorry, Shannon, that you had a negative experience with legal aid, but I just want to mention I've always heard good things, and I know people who've had positive experiences with legal aid, so I don't want to.
Yeah, they can't do a 548 petition, which is hard. I wish they could, but they can't. One, funding. Two, that is a petition where the client has the potential to win a large sum of money.
Yeah.
There's some cases out there with thousands, but
I'll put my 2 cents in about why it didn't help me. I called. I talked to I believe it was a paralegal. Explained the situation. Explained nothing was being done. I don't understand why housing steps outside that box and they tell you to talk it over with the landlord. They have nothing to do with that.
they're scared to lose the landlord usually. That's what I commonly hear, and that's not fair for the tenant. I'm actually getting an opportunity to go to HUD next month.
Oh, really?
I'm going to be bringing a tenant with me. So if anybody has questions, concerns, they'd like me to be able to bring to that, it's good to stop in the clinic, tell me what's happened to you. So I have
what she did was have me sign a release of information. She said she went down to housing. She said she called housing. When she talked to me after, she said, first, I'll go down to housing and do that. Then when she actually called me, she says, well, I called housing, and I was able to look at your file. And because I have had a breakdown or three, she said, I understand you have mental challenges. That ticked me off.
Yeah, and if anything, if you ever run into an issue, I'm learning that there's these things called reasonable accommodations. And that doesn't just apply to, like, say you want to have a emotional support animal in your apartment and you ask your landlord for a reasonable accommodation. Vouchers, HUD, they have special reasonable accommodations within each program.
Yes,
so,
that is a law. Service dog is no extra charge. It's not an extra $50 a month, you know.
Right.
For support a service dog. But I just, nobody wants to talk about the little bibbits,
Are you possibly in a public housing community now?
What?
Are you possibly in a public housing community now?
Yeah.
If your community is interested in organizing at all,
I have no community.
It's not public housing where it's project based.
No, it's not a whole public housing building. But,
okay.
But I don't.
I get you.
No, nobody talks to me. I don't talk to anybody.
All right.
That's what I meant by I have no community. But I have you guys. Hi,
Yes.
Jenny.
Hi.
Nice to hear you. And
well, there's other tenants that would love to meet with you the second Saturday of every month if you ever want to, that are also renters, and there's other people that come that are housing choice voucher holders also. So you name it, they've been through it, and a lot of times what tenants will find is there is a comfort in talking to another tenant that's gone through what you went through. It's really kind of neat to sit back and watch.
Well, that also, and I remember when the radio station you're on right now used to have the alderman meetings on air. And I remember it was a female alderwoman, and it was around Chestnut area, 677 Chestnut, I want to say, if I'm correct, with bed bug issues. It just went right over. Nobody talked about it.
Well, I'm trying to bring a pest-free grant to our city right now. I'm working on, so hopefully people get to hear that in the news in the next few months. So pay attention to that, because there will be an opportunity for tenants to come out and speak, and then we'll have a separate opportunity for landlords to come out and speak.
Because are you aware you can go online and buy those things?
Bed bugs?
Are you aware that you can go online on the internet and purchase bed bugs?
What?
Well, that's that's very strange.
That's very gross.
All right.
It's true. Wow. Check it out.
All right, Shannon, we're going to move
All right,
on.
take care. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. All righty.
That's horrible.
I do want to say, though, again, because I don't want to put out the wrong message. And Shannon, this is not to diminish your experience, and I'm sorry that you had a bad, that it didn't work out with legal aid. But I have heard very good things about New Hampshire legal aid. And I just want to I don't want to discourage anybody from calling them.
The most common things that I hear is if there are certain areas they can't do, or a conflict of interest, and that can be frustrating, but I hear you. And they wish they could do more. I know that.
If you'd like to get in with, we have a few minutes left with Jessica before we get to the top of the hour. If you'd like to give us a call, 603-250-6007 is the studio line, 603-250-6007. Melanie La Liberty in the chat room says, in Vermont, there have been concerns about landlord groups that share information with each other on renters who complain or take a stand around tenant rights, which leads to folks not wanting to make waves. Does this happen in New Hampshire?
We've heard about it, and I'm still searching for that tenant that feels that they're on a list.
Yeah.
If anyone has access to this list and feels like sharing it with me, I would keep you private.
So you don't know of an actual physical list?
I haven't gotten to see it. I just hear about it.
Yeah. Well, because I'm just thinking,
it's like what the one like Landlord Connection used to have. They recently, remember in the past year or two, they sold and a new company bought them, and I haven't gotten to hear how they run everything, if it's still the same. So if you get turned down for an apartment, good thing to note. And they use one of these agencies, you have a right to request the information that gave them that decision. So you can ask for what information they have on hand, because Landlord Connection used to save things. That was my complaint with them. That wasn't just from the court. They would save hearsay, basically, because if you go into court and you say, my neighbor says this, your neighbor's not there. That piece of that letter you're holding up from your neighbor's hearsay. You got to bring your neighbor into court.
Right.
Exactly. So things that were not decided in court or part of a physical actual record were just people's thoughts put into Landlord Connection also. So that part I never thought was very fair, because that would never really end up on our credit report that way.
I was just going to say, though, even, list or no official physical list. I mean, I'm sure that landlords and people in real estate in a particular community and area, I'm sure there's a lot of talk amongst each other. You know what I mean? I'm sure even if there's not an official physical list,
Right.
I'm sure a lot of these people are keeping sort of informal lists in their minds, of names of people that others have told them not to rent to. You know
The
what I mean?
one that seems to that I was wondering for a bit was if there is a list going around of those who utilize the NHE or AP assistance through the CAP agencies, because they were having such a hard time. If you got 3 months of rent and your security deposit, it was amazing. If you could check that they could income qualify, but because they had that assistance, you didn't want to take them. So many people I knew that fought for months to get a place, and that seemed to hinder them getting a place, was having that assistance for a lot.
Oh.
Got it. Discrimination practice.
Yep.
Really. But Mal, this hearing's going on tomorrow. I want to reiterate it for folks at 10 a.m. in room 100 at the State House. House Bill 117, a bill looking to allow landlords to evict tenants if over 6 months as grounds for an eviction. That you've lived there over 6 months, your lease is done, grounds for an eviction if this becomes law. If you want to say something about this, make sure to contact the Commerce Committee of the Senate. You can call that, you can call that committee at 603-271-2609, 603-271-2609. The senators on that particular committee is, Senator Daniel Innes, Senator Donna Soucy, Senator Shannon Chadley, Senator and Chairman Bill Gannon, and Vice Chairman Senator Denise Riccardi will be hearing this bill tomorrow. So if you want to make sure that this does not become law in New Hampshire, we really need to hear your voices. Silence tells them you're happy and okay with it. So we need to speak up if we don't want this to become law. And I'm terrified of what this could do to families, especially with kiddos, because it's always hard to find a good place with kiddos and school systems. And if you get tossed,
yep,
then you're going to move your kids out of a school system. I mean, it's horrible for people with kiddos.
And imagine an IEP. It is so hard to get your IEP just right. One of my kids had IEP.
What is that, Jessica?
Individualized education plan.
Okay.
So if they have either...
If a kiddo needs some extra help or some special needs, this plan tells the school what's expected of them to take care of this kiddo.
And they're not always easy to put together at every school. Not every school has the same resources as the others. Not always having the same paras available, the paraprofessionals, class size, all that. And the instructors, your kids will get used to a certain instructor. You get some progress. Oh, now you got to move. They got to get used to someone else. You got to get it. Hopefully the next school has enough paras in place for them. You know what I mean? It's so much.
Yeah.
And you always, you think that you're a tenant. You want to just live in your place, be kind to your neighbors, not do any damage, pay your rent on time. You think you're safe. If this is law, you're not safe. You don't have to do anything wrong. You don't have to miss a single rent payment.
Yeah, and
if this is law.
And one thing important to think about, from what I was told, is Rep. Lynn made I was told by someone that does not agree with this bill that he made a really good argument about contractual law. But a lease is not just a contract. These are our homes. This is where we live.
Right.
So it's time to make that clear distinction between what types of contracts are. Some contracts are just a plain contract. They have nothing implied. There's nothing.
No harm, no foul.
Exactly.
It fails. But this is life-altering and could literally lead to, I mean, you were talking about the elderly folks that are wanting to come up tomorrow to speak on this. They get thrown out of a home. What do they do?
Right. Luckily, they're safe at the those in public housing. They'll still continue to have those rights. But if they were on their own, I've had to help. This year had to help someone into a nursing home because their landlord could not get the bed bugs clear. And we could have fought it. We could have done a lot of things, but his dialysis was more important and not missing that dialysis. And if he waited a month for that, he would not have been around. So he had to get into the hospital and then into the nursing home. But there's going to be more of that when people can't complain.
Well, we are approaching the top of the hour. So, Jessica, thank you again for coming in today. This is always valuable. And but before we wrap up with you, if you can remind us about tomorrow, and then also these tenants meetings. You know, these different
Where people can come talk
meetings,
to you.
and what you want people to know about as far as resources and so forth.
I'm going to be at the State House tomorrow shortly after 9 myself. So if you want to find me there, if you need help with what you want to say or just want to say, hey, I'll be there. It's at 10 o'clock, room 100 in the State House. Hopefully it does get moved to bigger quarters. Hopefully enough people show up. And remember that if you don't want to talk because you don't have time to wait around or you don't like speaking in front of people, it is huge and so appreciated if you're able to show up, put your name on that piece of paper and put oppose and no, I don't want to speak, and you can head right out. It'll take you 5-10 minutes to get through, and you'll be able to have your say, and it means a whole bunch. When people are able to show up, it's huge. When you flood with overwhelming support, the email is huge too, and the calls.
Yeah.
But showing up is really huge, especially for those it's going to affect. And then Wednesdays 1 to 4, and Saturdays from the second Saturday of every month from 12 to 3, second floor above Margaritas.
All right, very good, Jessica. Thank you so much. Always wonderful to have you in, and thank you for the work that you do.
Thank you.
You know, absolutely. All right, Jessica Margison, thank you. And we're going to take a little break, and then shortly we're going to be joined. Jenny and I are going to be joined by Jesse Coffey, who's going to come in and play live for us. But I'm going to play a little. Going into the break, let's hear a little Downhill Rollers. I love this song. This is Savages, and then we'll be back with hour number 2, Numero Dos, coming up.
Everything they done seems
Come on down to the Hop Knot at 1000 Elm Street, Manchester's premier craft beer and gourmet pretzel bar. Tell us more, Trudy.
We make our dough fresh every day. We make a variety of styles of pretzels and serve craft beer, cocktails, and a few bottles of wine. We do the traditional pretzel, and we have multiple flavors for that. We also do stuffed pretzels, pretzel sandwiches, 3 dessert pretzels, and pretzel knots.
The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street.
Bring your kitchen to life with Queen City Cabinetry, located at 87 Elm Street in the historic Sunbeam Mall in Manchester. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They can be reached at 603-222-2007 or on the web at queencitycabinetrynh.com. Come see the possibilities. Queen City Cabinetry, another proud sponsor of WMNH.
Clemento's Pizzeria, family friendly, awesome for a date night. Clemento's Pizzeria.
For delivery, call 603-782-8450.
Clemento's Pizzeria, the best pizza in town.
1875 South Willow Street in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Best cocktails around.
Come in as friends and leave as family.
This hour on WMNH is sponsored by CGI Business Solutions, located at 5 Dartmouth Drive in Auburn. They serve all your business needs, including employee benefits planning, corporate design and business administration, investments and wealth management, and customized business insurance solutions. Their phone number is 866-841-4600 or on the web at cgibusinesssolutions.com.
WMNH, rip the knob off.
Welcome back, everybody. We are into hour number 2, numero dos of Matt Connerton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester. And hello to all of our online listeners across the nation and around the globe. You can go to my website, mattconnerton.com, for all your live streaming options, social media links, contact info, show archives, etc., etc. Today is Monday, March 20th, 2023. And Jenny is here at the news desk.
Present and accounted for.
Jenny, would you like to introduce our guest?
I was thinking
I would give you the honor.
In my mind's eye, the best singer and guitar player ever. My son, Jesse Coffey, who I'm immensely proud of. He's self-taught. Nobody taught him how to play guitar. He figured it out on his own. He sings beautifully, and I'm really excited to have you here.
Yes, welcome, Jesse.
I wouldn't say it like all self-taught, though. I had people that showed me stuff along the way. So,
yeah, well, yeah,
yes.
But you never took formal lessons, correct?
Not for guitar, no.
Yeah, no,
I can't really read music that well, even playing band or chorus.
Oh, me neither. Yeah, me neither. And I like the shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
Jesse's got his Matt Connerton Unleashed shirt on, so appreciate that very much. And now this is your first time on this show, but not your first time here at WMNH. You were on Granite State of Mind. What was maybe a month ago?
February 17th, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, just over a month. And that was your first time here, right?
Yes, in this room it was.
It's funny because you'd never know. I hear a lot of people say, people say it on Rob's show all the time. I hear people talk about how they would never know there was a radio station here. You know, if you're outside, you look up at the building, you would just never know. But, well, it's wonderful to have you here. And why don't you, do you want to play something and then we'll talk for a bit?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right. What would you like to play?
Well, can can I say? Do I have to say bull crap, or can I say the other way?
Oh, you'd want to say bull crap or just yeah. We can't have the S word.
All right. Well, all right. I'm gonna play something different then, because this is repeated so many times that I think it won't fit. So I wanted to make sure.
I
It's
gotcha.
interesting what words you can and you cannot say.
I'm glad that you asked. I appreciate
I
that.
figured it would be better to do it now than later.
Right. We are on a delay, so if something slips, it's not the end of the world. But
it screws up the song, though, because all of a sudden you have a massive station ID.
Well, that's
and I
true,
already
yeah.
know I'll probably use my one word I can use for the whole show, and I don't want it to be that one. There's better words.
Right. Gotcha. Oh, Scott Robinson is in the chat and says, I'm self-taught on guitar, so I have that.
Nice.
Yes. And Tom Blanchard says it's officially spring.
Yes.
Jenny mentioned that
It
earlier.
is after the 5:05 or 5 exactly?
I don't
It is
know.
Officially spring.
I don't know.
Spring has sprung.
I always think of March 1st as the first day of spring. So to me, it doesn't even matter.
No,
really.
that's true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this one goes out to Grant Lampton.
Ah, yes.
Because I know he likes a lot of Ween. So
you know
I was
who
gonna
else
play.
does?
I'll play some Ween.
So does the morning show host Peter White.
Really?
Yeah, he's
Yes.
he's the one who actually got Grant into Ween, because Grant told me the story about how, because he and Peter White have known each other forever, and I think if I remember the story correctly, Peter gave Grant a cassette tape of Ween, and Grant listened to it, and he's been hooked ever since.
I can't blame him.
Yeah, yeah, it's
right.
good stuff. All right.
Yeah. Sorry, for those who don't know, I kind of cheat, and I have this earpiece within the earpiece that kind of helps me follow along, because I've been very forgetful over the years.
Oh, okay.
So I apologize for the hang up.
Hey, no worries. It's nice when you can utilize technology.
Well, I figured if the guys that perform in Metallica can do it live, then I should be allowed to do it semi-live. So I figured that would be appropriate.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Yesterday we lost our lives, tomorrow we were born. Fortune smiled upon us, sacrificed the Argus, till that he might help us see. Magnetize the track for miles, looking for disease. Puzzled by the mountain, tricked by the sea, and the August is practice confession, with an eye on you as one is on me. Will the God I grant his forgiveness, heading blowy and swift, arisen to see. Counting days and building walls, bells ring, cells to mourn. All the signs that guide us, chosen by the August. Only he has chosen love. Never thought we'd share our songs, trusting like a child. See the dark face at sea, an eye on you as one is on me. Will the God I grant his forgiveness, adding droplets of life corrupt from the sea. Lying in beds of garlic and orchid, he closes an eye, which closes another, and in sleepy dreams of watching and looking, and feather clouds dance as he curls up his lid and sleeps. Swirling in visions with man's confusion, all in the world done just to appease, and the August he cries, corrupt from the place of the sin. It's only man's vigor that carries him on.
Very nice. Very nice.
Excellent.
If you're just joining us, Jesse Coffey is here with us in studio, and he is doing a few songs for us. Actually, it's funny. Right after you said what you were playing, I saw, actually, the song had started, and I saw Stephen Light, DJ Steve in the chat room said, "Hi, Jesse, play some Ween." So, yeah, you're getting some love in there. Abort 7, who is, of course, from our Greensboro, North Carolina contingent. Lots of hashtags. Abort 7 says, hashtag Jenny Coffey, your son, Mr. Jesse, rocks, we said. And we say, what's his favorite Matchbox 20 song?
None of them. I'm sorry.
Oh, don't be sorry.
They were great in my childhood.
Sure.
Where
sure.
they live forever in my memory bank.
Yes, yes.
Oh, no.
Abort 7 also says, we say, hashtag Jesse Coffey, have you never listened to BT song Shame from Sweet November soundtrack movie?
What? What is this?
I no. I can't say I have.
I have no clue.
It's,
maybe if it could also be one of those songs that I may have heard.
Yes,
but
yes.
I don't know the name of.
Yes. Jason Federson, or J-Fed as he's known on the morning show, says, do you play birthday parties? Would you sing happy birthday? I'm looking for a September birthday for his wife, Melanie, who's going to be having a birthday in September.
I potentially, it all depends on the date. I do have a job that pretty much has me work every weekend.
Yes,
but
yes.
Mondays and Tuesdays are fabulous days for me, so that could also work out.
Also, our friend Easy G. Eric Gagnon, who never calls this late in the show, so I'll ask on his behalf. He likes to ask all the musical guests this question. Have you ever played in Canada?
No, I've never actually been to Canada.
Abort 7 said, we say Sweet November stars Keanu Reeves and Charlize Theron.
What in the world are you doing today?
Wow. Who, me or Abort 7?
Abort 7.
Well, you know.
All this movie stuff today.
Yes, yes. Abort 7 says, Jesse Coffey, what is your favorite Jennifer Knapp song?
Who?
Jennifer Knapp. I think she's a Christian rock musician, I think.
I have no idea.
No.
I'm sorry. So. I'm striking out 2 for 2.
Oh, Abort 7 says, hashtag Matt, we say Jennifer Knapp is a singer-songwriter and had a good song is A Little More. There you go. Michael Albert says 3 a.m. I guess that's his favorite Matchbox 20 song. Yes. Well, would you like to play another song for us, sir?
Sure. I don't see why not.
All righty. What would you?
Oh, this was one I think I did last time on the show. It's probably my favorite version of Foo Fighters song Everlong.
Oh yes, I heard you doing this on Granite State of Mind. Yes.
myself into. Out of my head, they say. Come down and waste away with me. Down with me. So how you wanted it to be. Out of her head, out of my head, she sang. And I wonder, and I sing along with you. Everything will never be this real forever. Everything will never be this good again. The only thing I ever ask of you, gotta promise not to stop when I say when. And she sang. Lay down so I can breathe you in, hold you in. And how I know you've always been over my head, out of my head, just say. And I wonder, I sing along with you. Everything will never be this real forever. Everything could ever be this good again. The only thing I ever ask of you, gotta promise not to stop when I say when. And she sang. I sing along with you. Everything could ever be this real forever. Everything could ever be this good again. The only thing I ever ask of you, gotta promise not to stop when I say when.
Very nice. Very nice. Jesse Coffey is here with us on Matt Connerton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM. Jenny is here as well at the news desk, of course.
Yes, I am.
Yes, yes. Scott Robinson in the chat room says, a nice job. Michael Albert says, nice playing and singing.
Thank you.
Jason Federson, or JFed, says, if I was to have the birthday party in an ice bath, would you be willing to get into the ice bath?
Oh, God.
You ever do an ice bath,
He
Jesse?
really does. He's got a bucket. He breaks the ice and gets in it.
Yeah, every day he
Outside.
posts on social media a picture of him in the ice bath.
How many minutes? How much are you paying?
There you go. There you go.
Now, wait a minute. I don't know.
He also says, great job, by the way, JFed does. And DJ Steve says, that was great. And Abort 7 says, we say, would you play something special for Isaac Banks' girlfriend, Tammy Cochran?
What?
And he miss his girlfriend so much. She is from Greensboro, North Carolina. How did I know? Abort 7 also said, awesome job, we said. And Melanie La Liberty says, excellent questions. I think referring to JFed. Those are
Seriously? Come on now. Don't encourage him.
Oh boy. Do you play out much, Jesse?
I haven't honestly had a lot of time to get to play out much. Between just being mostly tired from work after a while.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping I can honestly just buckle down and do it. That's where it mostly comes down to. I just had to actually dedicate a day where I can really like kind of practice and be confident enough. I'd say to have 12 songs at least to kind of get to that. I guess to get to that repertoire of, difficulty or level, however you want to say it.
Yeah, makes sense. Rocky Huber is in the chat room and says, "Nice vibe for the first day of spring." Thank you, Rocky. How many songs do you know? Do you think?
It depends if my memory lets me. I've played for like 15 years now.
Yeah.
So I could say I know like 100, but if I actually remember all 100 is a different question.
Yeah.
I've played a lot of different songs as like I've gone out, whether it's open mics or doing other things.
Yeah.
There are some songs that have always kind of stayed with me.
Yeah.
Because I like playing them a lot, and it's like learning your voice too. So some songs I just don't do at all anymore. They're great where they were, and other songs I'll try and like challenge myself and see if I can like do them or not.
Are there songs you used to do that, obviously, as you get older, your voice gets deeper. Are there songs that you used to do that were higher, that were easier to do that you don't do now for that reason?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like I've lost octaves or if I've gained it in a different area. My voice has definitely gotten a little deeper over the years. I used to be able to hit higher notes, but now I can't as much, but that's okay. Like it's also not as straining.
Yeah.
To really try and push it. Some songs I will, but it also depends on how the artist sings it too. Like Chris Cornell's probably one of my favorite artists to do stuff with, but lately a lot of his songs are very challenging because he has a 4-octave range.
Yeah.
It's ridiculously difficult to imitate. Some songs he just has more gravel and gruff on. I can't do it.
Yep.
But other songs I'm like, all right, maybe a little bit, but it's a fun time. Like just enjoying his music after growing up with it for so long. So
is there a song you play a lot that you find particularly challenging? Like this,
honestly, any of his songs would be.
Really, yeah.
Like I wouldn't probably do it today because I can tell you my throat's just not really there to go after hitting some of those high notes. But on like the weeks where I'm really like trying to challenge myself to do it, I think I can like do those. So his songs are probably the most fun songs I like doing, but the hardest songs I like doing.
As far as singing,
absolutely.
What about as far as playing guitar? Is there anything that was particularly difficult to learn or?
Yeah, it depends on like what I'm doing too, because some of those songs that are difficult to play on guitar, I can't sing and play at the same time with. Like that, it's just a lot of finger movement. I used to be able. It's not as great on acoustic. It's a lot easier, I'd say, on electric because the neck's a lot skinnier, the strings are closer together, so it's a lot more easier to mitigate those mistakes, and you can also have some distortion to cover it up a bit. But like Snow, Heyo, with Red Hot Chili Peppers, or on like more of like the metal side, and probably the only solo of anything I can actually play, it would be like Lamb of God Laid to Rest or My Curse for Kill Switch. Like those are songs like I really enjoy playing instrumentally, but not so much sing with it because I just don't have an interest in trying to learn those kind of vocals.
Melanie asked this question. I guess I can read it the way it's written. Does he usually play with himself, or does he prefer others play with him? It made me chuckle when I read it initially. That's why I hesitated before reading it. But
honestly, either or. I don't really get to play a lot with other people, but if opportunity arises or someone's around and happen to kind of jam with them, then that's fun too. It really just depends on like timing. A lot of it's just hard to match up schedules with people that are like musically inclined and like want to just play around for fun or jam or whatever it might be.
Have you ever played in a band?
No, not really. I did for a talent show once, and that was kind of it.
Oh, okay.
It was a one jam band.
Oh, okay. Abort 7 says, we say, who are influences? # Jesse, we said. You don't have to put a hashtag on all the names. You can just say the names. It's okay.
Please don't.
Hashtag. Honestly, well, I already mentioned Chris Cornell. He's definitely one of the ones up there. For a different kind of influence, I really like Kid Cudi. Like the earlier day Kid Cudi's, because he has a lot of melodic rhythms and backgrounds that go along with a lot of the songs and stuff that I've enjoyed. Mostly a lot of grunge era bands in general and metal bands. But for what I typically play and sing, it's usually more on like a folkier or acoustic kind of 90s
right
that I can kind of pull off. Like any of those Unplugged era years, I'm very much into those. Alice in Chains, maybe not the Korn one, but there's a few of the other ones I really liked.
Yeah Melanie said, good to hear he usually plays with himself. Solo, acoustic, we mean, obviously, right?
Melanie, I don't like you anymore.
Michael Albert says, what is your favorite Miley Cyrus song and why is it Party in the USA?
What?
I mean, I'd say it's the theme song because you got the best of both worlds.
Oh, there you go. She's very talented, Miley Cyrus. I see her videos online of her performing live, and
How do you get to Miley Cyrus?
she's real. What's that?
That just doesn't even mesh.
Well, you never know. You never know.
I too can get myself flowers.
This is true.
Yes.
Yes.
See?
You are right.
Abort 7 says, well, about a Metallica, a metal band Metallica. Jesse, I don't understand Abort 7's question.
I think he's trying to ask about metal bands.
Are you a Metallica fan? I guess is the question.
Black Album and back.
Yeah,
that's my favorite era of Metallica. They're still a very talented band.
Oh yeah,
and I really like their bassist Rob because he's just a fantastic bassist. And like for me, I knew him from Suicidal Tendencies, so to see him jump to that was like a huge change, but it's very fun.
I find the early stuff a little bit frustrating to listen to, just when you can't like Injustice for All, when you can barely hear the bass. It's frustrating to me.
I get that.
Like I found a couple on YouTube, just alternate versions that fans have made. Like there's one called Injustice for Jason, and there's another one called And Jason for All, and and just like you can hear the bass on them, they're remixed, or maybe somebody actually played the bass lines over it. But I like those better than the original, just because you can hear the bass. Those songs sound really good with bass.
No, and he's a phenomenal bass player.
Oh yeah,
so,
yeah.
I agree on that point until you mentioned. I'm like, it is kind of quiet.
Yeah, yeah.
You think about it.
Yeah. Do you want to play one more?
Yeah, why not? I'm not really sure exactly.
Or you can do more than one more if you want to, but I think you said you had three in mind. Although I guess one of those came off the list, right, because of the bad word.
Yeah, that was one of them. that was one of them. That was like one of the main ones. I was just going to go right for that one.
Yeah, yeah.
I gotta scale that one back.
I'm curious now what it was. Can you tell us what it was without saying it?
It used to be High for a Living by John Butler.
Oh, okay.
I kind of rediscovered his music and I was like, I haven't played that song in a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm just starting to relearn it because he's a really talented guitar.
Oh, yeah.
player and singer.
Yeah.
Usually plays that 11 string, which I can feel for it because usually my 12 string turns into that the moment I get it restrung. It's just a never ending battle.
Do you, by the way, I ask everybody this who ever plays a 12-string guitar, because I get very different answers from different guitar players. Do you find it easier or not easier? I'm sure you don't find it easier, but do you find it more difficult to play a 12-string or is it kind of the same? Or because I get wildly disparate answers from different guitar players on this question, so I'm always curious.
For the 12-string, I mean it's more difficult purely to restring. It's one of the few times where
that's got to be a nightmare.
I completely lazy boy it out. I go straight to the music mill down here in Manchester.
Yeah.
Hand that nice guitar over to the fine people over the counter, and I say, "Can you please help?" And they say yes.
Yeah.
Because I hate restringing it. It's such a process. Because I already take up like a good amount of time just doing like a 6-string guitar.
Yeah.
Like I would be able to push 7, 8 string. That's fine, but that's for different reasons. But 12-string is just such a pain for that reason alone. But playing wise, I'm not like a very good soloist, so I could be the wrong person to say it. I've always been more rhythm.
Yeah.
I got short, stubby sausage fingers for hands, so it's kind of hard to get some of the crazy reach that a lot of those shredders and people that can play that level of difficulty.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a very chord heavy guitar, which works for me. So the only thing that's difficult about it is you kind of have to push down a lot harder.
Oh,
because you got that double string. The higher strings are, honestly, it feels like you just have a thicker higher strings. So that's fine. But the fatter strings, especially the bottom strings, can be very difficult.
Yeah.
And if you want to use capos and stuff, because the neck is already wider, you kind of have to get a little creative. So like my capo that I have is like a standard one. I've had this one for years, and I can put it on any level of the neck here.
Yeah.
Fine. But for the 12 string, I can only go probably to like a middle of the road here, because after a while it'll start to make the ghost sound, the notes sound like kind of like chunking it, and it's not as good in that regard.
Do you use the capo much?
There's a lot of songs where it's just like whether it's on 1 or 3 or 4, and it's all kind of all over the place. So I
Yeah.
use it a lot. I down tune a lot. I go up and down. That's the only annoying part is this is my only acoustic electric.
Oh, okay.
So this is everything. Like if I ever to pause, tune it to the song I want to do, then it's just one of those things.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Did you want to play one more?
Sure. Figuring out what that one would be.
I know your mom wants to hear one more. Melanie in the chat said, "Short, stubby, soft fingers. The ladies love to hear that." Oh, sorry. I got to put your mic back on.
Melanie.
Melanie's our favorite commenter. Sometimes she says things in there I don't dare read on the air.
Sometimes.
And even
daily.
and even these today have been pushing it, but
He's doing that just to get to me. I swear.
No, while you were out of the room, Jesse's gonna play one more for us. He's just trying to decide
which one he wants to.
Yeah.
Let's to play. Yeah, I know. I'm looking forward to him getting to play out. I know he said he was wanting to get to play out more frequently.
Yes, definitely. I think I'll play one. I'll play. You said someone had a girlfriend and had like a missing essence like a while back.
Oh yes, Abort 7 said
So I'll play
someone
a generic love song, but it's about cheating. Hopefully that's not the case. But here's a sad one just for them.
Okay, all right, wonderful.
Leave me out with the waste. This is not what I do. It's the wrong kind of place to be thinking of you. It's the wrong time. Somebody new. It's a small crime, and I got no excuse. Is that alright? I gone away and it's loaded. That alright? Yeah. You don't shoot it out. I'm supposed to hold it. That alright? Yeah. With my gun away and it's loaded. That alright? Is that alright with you? Leave me out with the waste. This is not what I do. It's the wrong kind of place to be cheating on you. It's the wrong time. Please don't let me through. It's a small crime, and I got no excuse. Is that alright? Yeah. With my gun away and it's loaded. That alright? Yeah. You don't shoot it, how I'm supposed to hold it. That alright? Yeah. With my gun away and it's loaded. That alright? Is that alright with you? Is that alright? Yeah. With my gun away and it's loaded. That alright? Yeah. You don't shoot it, how I'm supposed to hold it. That alright? Yeah. With my gun away and it's loaded. That alright? Is that alright with you? Is that alright? Yeah. Is that alright? Yeah. Is that alright? Yeah. Is that alright? Is that alright? Is that alright with you? No.
Glad you played that one. That was really good.
Wow. That was awesome.
Yeah, very
I want
good.
to cry. That was so beautiful. I haven't heard that song in forever. I remember when you used to sing that.
And that's I looked it up. So that's a band called Nine Crimes.
The song's called Nine Crimes.
The song
with,
is
Damien Rice is the singer.
Oh, okay.
He's been around for a little while.
I misread that. Yeah, that's right. I do know who Damien Rice is. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I think I.
Oh, Tom, thank you. He said I don't look old enough to have an adult song.
Huh. Well, you have good skin.
Thank you for that kindness.
Absolutely. And Melanie said regarding her comments, she gets extra points because you're in the room.
She also thinks she gets extra points because his grandma's in the room.
Yes.
Grandma's watching.
She's watching on Facebook.
Yes.
Very good.
Hope your knee's feeling good.
Yeah.
He's bionic now.
Yes.
We can rebuild her. My mom got a new knee.
Yes. Very good. I saw somebody else said something. Oh, Abort 7 says, Jesse, what is your favorite John Mellencamp song?
What?
Do you have a favorite John Mellencamp
Wrong
song?
genre or wrong era, maybe.
Well, I don't know.
Mellencamp was in our youth.
Yeah, so was Metallica. It doesn't matter.
I'm hoping I don't get like a knife thrown through the computer screen. He is the singer for Clearance Creedwater, right? Do I have the wrong John?
No.
All right, see, this is where I get him mixed up.
Oh,
So
that was awesome.
No.
See, I knew I was going to say it wrong, so if that was the case, then I would have probably,
I love that.
probably picked the song. China Girl. Is that John Mellencamp?
No.
All right,
That's David Bowie.
Oh,
Is
no.
that David Bowie?
Yes, China Girl is David Bowie.
China Girl is David Bowie.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's definitely David Bowie.
Well-
In fact, I can see the video in my mind.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's like leaning into the wall,
Oh, yeah.
singing about his China Girl. That is totally here. You're checking, aren't you? It's
Yep.
really David Bowie.
Yeah, no, there's a song called China Girl by, it says John Cougar on it. Never mind. It said John Mellencamp, but I'm not sure.
Oh,
No.
John
He did one?
John Cougar has a song. Maybe John Cougar has a song called China Girl.
Anything's possible.
Because John Cougar is John Mellencamp.
Okay, then
Same guy.
So I think,
But not
that is-
Creedence Clearwater.
Okay, well, China Girl, if that is the right one, then I'm pretty sure.
Okay,
I like that song.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because he started out as John Cougar, and then he became John Cougar Mellencamp, and then he became John Mellencamp because he didn't want to be Cougar anymore.
He's totally right. There is a China Girl song by John Mellencamp.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yes,
All
there
right.
is one. I don't know which one came out. And his didn't come out until 1982, so I don't know who got it first. It's kind of questionable.
Well,
Might have been Bowie.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a different song, just the same title. But there is another version of China Girl by Iggy Pop because they wrote it together. We played it on Friday night on Retro Spectrum Radio, Iggy Pop's version.
Oh, yeah.
I like Iggy Pop.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's a legend. Absolutely. Now, do you have any originals, or do you write? Have you written anything? Any original music? Or
I have written stuff. Lyrically speaking, most of those songs I've kept kind of in the teenage years, and I'm gonna leave them right there.
Yeah.
Where they should just forever be forgotten.
Really? Yeah.
But I have a couple like pieces that I have played. Some that I haven't like quite figured out if I like where they're at, because if you write music, then you're never sure if you're satisfied with it.
Right.
You're your worst critic, which I know I am. I always say it, no matter how anything I play sounds, I'm just like,
Oh,
but
really?
I still
Yeah.
enjoy doing it, so it's like this weird conflict.
Okay, but so you haven't played any of that out then?
No, not typically. There's a couple pieces that I've had, but I just haven't quite figured if I want to play them or not yet.
Yeah. If you're just joining us, Jesse Coffey is here. He's been playing some songs for us, and we've been talking. And yes, there is a relation. He is Jenny's son, and she's a proud mama at the news desk.
I am a very proud mama. I am a very proud mama. I've heard him play obviously his whole life, but he's worked really hard at it.
Mm-hmm.
Really hard at it, and it's really paid off. Everything that you can do is all because of your own efforts. I'm super proud, Mom.
Very good. If you'd like to join us, if you have any questions or feedback or anything for Jesse, the studio line is open, 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. You can also text us at 617-917-4476. I'm on social media at Matt Connerton. You can email me, matt@mattconnerton.com. And of course, you can interact and opine in the Facebook live chat. But the best thing to do, we do have a little bit of time left, is to give us a call today at 603 250-6007. And Abort 7 says, we say Jenny, he is the man. Very
Yes, he
nice.
is.
Very
Yes.
nice.
Thank you.
I will absolutely agree with you there. You said that you liked Creedence. What song is it? What pulls you for what song Creedence?
Probably Dead Moon Rising.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I've always, it's so upbeat, and I like, obviously it's what it's about. It's not so upbeat, but it's still,
Right.
it's still really just a great song, and just like the power and energy in it.
Do you remember what the first song was that you ever learned on guitar?
Aerials by System of a Down.
No kidding.
I love that one.
Well, the reason was when I first actually had an acoustic, and I don't have this one anymore, but it was gifted by one of my grandmothers when I was 12-ish, I think, when we first moved to New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And I didn't touch it for like a year and a half because I just did not care.
Oh, wow.
And then eventually one of the kids in my class in middle school started learning guitar, and they all wanted to like form a band, but they wanted me as the trumpet player because I played at the time to do like a ska thing, which never happened. Instead, I found it more interesting to like learn the guitar. I'm like, oh wait, I have one at home. So I started learning it a little bit, and my parents said, if you learn one full song, we'll get you an electric guitar, whether it's like a crappy starter one, just to see if you actually still use it after a year.
Yeah.
Because you know how it is learning something, you're like, I like this for now, but maybe not later. But
Right.
that's what got me like my first, I think it was like one of the like $150 Fender starter kit gas with like a tiny little 10-watt Ibanez amp that somehow managed to go with the Fender knockoff.
Right.
But it got me to that point, and I started learning other songs because Guitar Hero was also really huge.
Oh, okay.
And it was a very fun time because everyone just wanted you to learn Guitar Hero songs, so that kept it more engaging because it also increased in difficulty as you learn, because it does kind of work out that way. And when I started playing, I played weird, and I played up top, and playing games like Guitar Hero forced my hand to switch because I couldn't hit the buttons well.
Interesting.
I don't know why. I found it more comfortable. Now it's just like I can't even imagine playing it that way unless you're like Herman Lee, like from Dragon Force, playing it that way, but he's like, good at actually doing that.
Right. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. So that was the first, so that System of a Down, so Aerials, that was the first song you learned?
Yeah.
The whole thing?
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. Yeah, that stuff's not easy. I used to, so I was in a band called My Life Crisis, and we used to play, the song Sugar?
Yeah.
We used to,
that's a tough song.
Well, the thing about that song is, I'm a bass player. So the bass line on that's pretty easy because it's just the same thing through most of the songs. It's just that do 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 do. But I have a specific memory of that song. So I was in a band called My Life Crisis, and we were an original band, but we did a couple of covers, and we used to open with Sugar. We used to close with Sugar because that was a real crowd pleaser. And the one time I ever broke my instrument was because of that song. So I blame System of a Down. But what happened was, I broke a string on my bass. It broke right before we started that song. So I switched, I had my backup bass with me, but my backup bass was a cheap piece of crap. And, and I hadn't played it in a long time, and I'd forgotten how bad it sounded. And the thing is, it wouldn't have mattered with most of our stuff, but with that song, the bass line is all the way out in front. Like you can clearly
always hear the bass.
So I'm there with my backup bass because I just would switch it instead of taking the time to like you were talking earlier about what a hassle it is to change a string. And I'm standing there and I'm playing that bass line, and instead of do 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 do, it just sounds like fart sounds coming out of my amp. It was so bad, and I was so mortified. And no one said anything to me about that, really. Like people were pretty nice about it, but I was embarrassed. So as a way of sort of, it was premeditated. I decided it during the song as we're playing it. As soon as the song was over, it was the last song of the set. I took my bass off and I just kind of threw it. I was careful to throw it where there was nobody standing, but I just kind of threw it on the floor in front of the stage, and it broke. And that got a reaction from people. People kind of enjoyed that. But then I remember one of the owners of the club, it was at a place that's not there anymore, called the Bomb Shelter here in Manchester. One of the owners came up to me, and she was like, Matt, you broke your bass. I said, yeah, I decided I'm never playing that bass again. It was the only time like I can ever remember being genuinely embarrassed on stage playing in a band, but it was so bad. It was so bad. So that's my System of a Down story. There you go. I don't think I've ever told that before on the air.
I like that story. Honestly, it's a fitting song to throw your bass at. Honestly.
Yes, because
and
it was
a good statement behind it.
yes, because it was my way of sort of atoning. Like I was apologizing to the audience and to the band for ruining the song. So I figured I had to sacrifice something. So I sacrificed the bass. And it was very, I just felt better. I don't think I would have been able to, I don't know if I could have played it again after that night if I had not done something to make up for the terrible embarrassment that I'd caused myself. And that, like, the band wasn't, like, nobody was upset, but I knew it sounded horrible. I just took it off and it was fun. Anyway.
You did kind of have a group thing once, Coffee and Arsenic.
No.
Sort of.
That's a cool name.
That was because
was
there was
funny.
a misspelling in the title. That wasn't what it was supposed to be named. It was Arsenal.
Arsenal?
Yeah, because his last name was Arsenal.
I thought you did it on purpose.
No.
I really thought it was all these
no,
years.
that was the typo for all these years and can never be changed.
Oh.
I think the video is still on YouTube.
I see why you thought it was on purpose, though. That's a cool name, Coffee and Arsenic.
Right?
It does
All
sound
these
like a
years.
good poison.
Somebody should start a band called that.
I actually think it is kind of a cool name.
Yeah.
I can't disagree.
Oh, my.
I thought you were going to say Abstract Infinity.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Wait, wasn't that in elementary school?
Middle school.
Oh, yes, that's right. Middle school. 8th grade?
Yeah, we were awful. It was great. Because we all just started learning how to play instruments.
Oh.
It's like learning. It's like playing the recorder. Like you tolerate it because they have to play it, but unless they're like really that 1% that actually can play the recorder incredibly well,
Yeah.
you just don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
It's just one of those instruments.
Absolutely.
And that was
I
all of
never
our
even
instruments
handled the
collectively.
recorder. I just stunk.
Abort7 says in the chat room, we say, Jesse, have you listened to Sugar Ray songs like Every Morning and Someday? We say Sugar Ray was the band and frontman was Mark McGrath.
Who?
Yes, I have listened to Someday. I say I Just Wanna Fly is probably still my favorite classic song of theirs from
Really?
that era.
Yeah.
For some of the Sugar Ray years.
Yeah. I hated that band.
I'm sitting
Those
here
are the
having
only
no
two
clue.
songs, like that one and that one. I'm like, I was fine with it.
Yeah. I hated that band.
That's okay.
Oh God.
It's hard to like Mark McGrath.
I can't even place it.
It wasn't even like, I didn't even have a problem. I know a lot of people don't like him. I never had a problem with him. I just hate
I don't
those
personally
songs.
not dislike him. It's
Yeah.
there's so many like negative videos out there, whether
Yeah.
they're staged or if that's actually him. Like,
He's one of those people who's just cool to hate. So a lot of people hate him, you know?
yeah, actually, that's a pretty fair thing.
Yeah.
What?
That sounds terrible.
Well, take Nickelback. Like, you can make fun of them. They are a very talented band, but
Yeah.
they're still the butt of like all rock jokes.
Oh yeah.
Like even to this day. But but everyone still secretly likes them.
And the
Yeah.
whole Rick roll thing.
I still like that.
That's another one. I like the song too, but I thought it was funny when people, I think it's funny
Well,
when
that's why I have
people
a
play
QR
jokes
shirt
with
with it, and I wear it out sometimes. It's really good at either concerts or protests. Everyone thinks it's some kind of informational for like what you're doing. And
For
you
what
just go,
shirt?
Wait, what shirt?
I have a QR shirt that I wear.
Oh,
and
yes.
if you scan it, it brings you right to Rickroll.
Oh, no kidding.
I just have to hope that it never changes and it doesn't go to anything else. So
yeah.
In a way, it's like kind of being double checked all the time. So it's all right.
He got me with that because I had gone over to the Hop Knot and I thought it was how you got the Wi-Fi or something for the or that it was like the menu. And no, just scan it, Mom. It's cool.
Yeah.
Well, if anyone asks, because of course I'm not going to tell them what the shirt does. So usually
Right.
I either kill them with suspense.
Yeah.
Or if they ask me, well, hey, what does your QR shirt go to? I say, you got to scan it to find out.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I'm not doing that. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the end
I
of the
wonder how many
conversation.
people do and then like
Oh, they always
quietly
do.
back away.
They always do. Because eventually it'll get to them, or they have their friend do it, so it's not them doing it. But they're still associated with it because they wanted someone else to do it for them. So
Yeah.
I count it as a win.
Abort7 says, Jesse, we say, do you listen to boy bands like New Kids on the Block, Backstreet Boys, and NSYNC?
No.
And
I don't.
Good answer. Good answer.
Well, it's ironic because someone at work calls me boy band, and everyone does because they say I look like one of those backup rejects that you keep on standby for 98 Degrees and all
Stop
them bands.
it!
What?
No!
Well, I'd prefer that over Bart Simpson, so I'll take it.
You do not look like Bart Simpson.
That's because I'm not yellow.
You don't look like him at all.
Wait, someone told you if you were yellow, you'd look like Bart Simpson?
Well, it's because if I have my hair just completely spiked up and I don't like do anything to fix that.
But you have a beard.
So?
Yeah.
That
Bart
doesn't
Simpson,
even-
but 30.
Who confuses you with Bart Simpson? You do not look like
Well, I don't look like Homer, but I'd take Bart over Homer.
Yeah, no kidding, huh?
True that. True that.
Michael Albert says, what's your favorite Weird Al song?
Ooh, that'd be a hard
That's
one.
that. You know, that's a really good question. I like a lot of I like a lot of Weird Al songs. I don't perform them, but I would say his cover and his version of the Crash Test Dummies.
Yes.
Song, yes.
That's a good choice.
His cover is still really good, and like the chords of that song are actually enjoyable to listen to anyway. But that version is just honestly very enjoyable. It references all the ridiculous articles you read in the 90s and got between the ice skater, forget her name. They did a movie about it. The lady that sliced the
one
other
that
girl.
hit the other woman in the ankle.
Yeah, because she didn't want to lose.
Tanya Harding.
And then the guy who got stuck in Singapore, and then the dude that woke up missing some parts of himself because of his crazy girlfriend.
I found the song, so that's what
Bobbit.
that's what I'll play at the end of the show. It's called Headline News.
Yep.
I
I forgot what the name of that song was that he called it, but that's probably my favorite. And I'd say a second favorite, respectfully so, is probably Amish Paradise.
Yeah,
You can't not like that song.
Years ago, you used to play the greatest song in the world, and you had such a fun and awesome delivery. I would love to hear you do that one again. I just know that people would love it. Am I wrong?
As much as I enjoy that song, I haven't played it long enough to
You have
really
such a
want to
funny
do it.
delivery, though. The way you do your voice is so freaking funny. I love it.
If any time my best friend Kyle's up to be next to me, so I can at least look to him and say, "Me and my brother Kyle here," then I will perform it.
That sounds like a plan.
There you go. There you
sounds
go.
like a plan.
Or another Kyle that I think also has a show and plays for does some stuff here.
Kyle Heavey. Yes.
Yes, he was here
He also
earlier.
can be part of that too.
Oh, there you go. There
That's
you go.
right. Yeah, I forgot you guys know each other. He had stopped in earlier.
That's true. Yeah, we did see him earlier briefly. Kyle Heavey of Off the Mark Sports. You got anything coming up, Jesse? Are you playing out anywhere that you want to mention? Or
Not at the moment. The most I've honestly gotten to do in recent since the radio show was an open mic at Two Share.
Okay.
I'm hoping I can stop in at Area 23 because that was another spot that was mentioned on for Wednesdays, and then I still need to get my butt down to Shaskeen, talk to the guy there, and see if maybe I can make something work. But I also inevitably I want to spend a little time actually getting a good list, a solid list that I can just do consistently every time, because I kind of want to get away from the earbud. As much as it's helpful, it's also been almost like a crutch in a way. So I'm trying to get away from that a little bit. So the open mic I did without it, which was fun, but I also don't want to do the same two songs that I do on the last radio and do them every time.
makes sense. Yeah, makes sense.
Absolutely.
Well, we're about out of time. So, Jesse, thank you for coming in. This has been wonderful.
Thank you for having me. Really
Absolutely.
appreciate it. It's been
Absolutely.
fun.
We'll do it again in the future. And Jenny, thank
Yes,
you.
And thank you. And don't forget, tomorrow is the hearing up at the State House in Room 100 at 10 a.m. The Senate is hearing HB 117, allowing landlords to evict people simply for getting to the end of their lease. So make sure you have your voices heard there. And if you want to find out more about me, go to JennCoffey.com, JENNCOFFEY.com for my artwork and ruminations from the mighty.
Very good. And if you missed any part of today's show, it will be up in just a little bit at WMNHradio.org and at my website, MattConnerton.com. And thank you again to Jessica Margison for joining us in the first hour. And Jesse, thank you again. This has been great.
Oh, thank you.
And
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And we'll leave you with a little bit of this. Talk to y'all a little bit later. Bye, everybody.
Once there was this kid who took a trip to Singapore and brought along his spray paint and when